upcoming season. In my last video, which was my predictions video, I had predicted like 9, I believe, 9 or 10 queens that would be on this season, and I got most of them right, so that is very, very good. I think it's the best track record I've done by these prediction videos. And I put that predictions video out in June. Now, in June, a lot of people were complaining about that particular video because some people said they didn't like the fact that I chewed randomly for about 5 or 6 seconds out of the video. Well, I've decided not to chew gum this time, but this time I've given you bad lighting to complain about. The first queen to discuss is Adore Delano. Now, Adore Delano is Danny Noriega from American Idol. He only got to the semifinal rounds and then he got kicked off, but he does have a voice, and he's been a lot more popular on YouTube lately. And now he's got a chance to actually prove himself on the show through his drag persona. I'd said I thought maybe Adore might be on the show last year, but he wasn't. But this time, Danny Noriega actually got on the show. Now, RuPaul tends to not like the fan favorites. Now, whoever wins the fan favorite vote and usually gets on the show gets voted out fairly early. You had Penetration, who got voted out really early in her season, and Pandora Box in All Stars. Both of those people went first week. Does RuPaul just not like her fans, or what? I'm not sure, but if that's any indication, then Adore is in trouble. Adore might actually go home very early. Vivacious. Now, I think Vivacious might go pretty early on, only because Vivacious's style is pretty off-center. Now, Vivacious is originally from Jamaica, is now a New York City queen. It's pretty funny. I liked her cast video. I really did, and I think, given enough time, I think Vivacious will be someone that I would really, really like. Now, I did not predict Vivacious would be on this season. This came from so far left field that, despite being a New York City queen, it was kind of hard for people to figure out who she actually was on this season. Some people were saying this was Monet X Change, M-O-N-E-T-X Change. So when I tried to Google Monet Exchange, Google kept thinking I was wanting Money Exchange. I never found anything about Monet Exchange, so I don't know who Monet Exchange is as a drag queen. But Vivacious was the actual drag queen that was going to be on the show, and I'm hoping that if Vivacious can get past the first 4 weeks, Vivacious could go quite far. Jocelyn Fox. Didn't predict Jocelyn Fox either, and it took a while for people to try to figure out who Jocelyn Fox was as well. Probably one of the least experienced drag queens, I believe, on this season, which has a lot of good talent. Now, I'm not saying Jocelyn Fox wasn't pretty, because Jocelyn was very pretty. Just, the makeup was kind of blended oddly. Kind of looked like she had sunglasses on, and she got good suntan coverage all over her face, except for right around her eyes. Didn't like it one bit, but, I mean, we will have to see. The next queen is Magnolia Crawford. The next queen that we'll talk about is Trinity K. Bonet. Trinity was one of the ones that I had originally predicted in the cast video in June from Atlanta. Trinity grew up, though, in Florida, so this is the closest it looks like we're going to get to a Florida queen on this season. I predict that Trinity will probably go within the first 5 weeks. Seemed very quiet in the interview, didn't really give too much information. Just kind of reminded me of LaShawn Beyond, but without the Beyond factor. Now, Darian Lake seems to be the only plus-sized queen so far that we know about. I still have this odd sensation that possibly, there might be 15 queens on this season. And there might be a returning queen that might come back from another season. This has been a rumor that I've heard a couple of people have said, and some people said they really want this to happen. We've heard Willem as being a possibility. Since there were no real Florida drag queens, there's always a Florida drag queen on the show. My theory was it was going to be someone that got voted out like the first week that people thought got an unfair disadvantage. My pick would be Elisa Summers from here in Tampa. Also, possibly Pork Chop from season 1. I mean, they went back and they did that whole review of the whole re-airing of the lost season, which really wasn't lost at all. It was first season. It was available on Netflix, so it wasn't lost at all. But Victoria Porkchop Parker was a plus-size queen that got voted off very, very, very early. So I'm thinking maybe she might come back. Possibility. That would be kind of cool. But Darian Lake says that she was named after an amusement park in New York. So, and she's got a fun personality that we might like to take a ride on her for a little while. Take her for a spin. She's a cat lover, and she's also Pandora Box's drag mother, so that will benefit her. The next queen that we will review is Milk. A lot of people got very confused about this particular contestant, and most people have just been calling her Milk Queen. But in her cast review, she doesn't want to be called Milk Queen, she just wants to be called Milk. She seems very funny, like a comedy queen, and I really, really liked her. Very Alaska-like, though. She made an incest joke during the cast interview about her brothers, which you'll just have to watch the cast interview videos on Logo to see what I'm talking about. But a lot of people thought that Tara Grenade was actually the drag queen that Milk was her photo. A lot of people got Tara and Milk confused. So a lot of people, including myself, added Tara on Facebook and started following her. And supposedly it was this controversy that she was faking being Milk, or they're the same person or something. And it kind of makes me wonder when I watch the video, because the voice is very similar. I mean, they're very, very, very much alike, so it's quite possible that there might be a doppelganger. But I did like Milk, and I would like to see Milk go quite far, but I don't think she's going to make it past, like, the 6th week. Then we have Gia Gunn. Now this is the Asian queen that I had said back in my previous video that a lot of people thought she was dead. Like when she disappeared, you know how they have to disappear and go into sequester or whatever for the show. A lot of people think that they've gone on vacation or they've taken a trip. A lot of people just thought Gia was dead, that she overdosed on drugs or committed suicide. Well, the good news is that she's not dead, and the bad news is she's not going to make it to the end. Bianca Del Rio. She's originally from Nolans, but she's a New York City queen now. Most of the queens are either New York City queens or Los Angeles queens, with some Seattle thrown in there for good measure. But Bianca says that she used to perform around 96 97 at a gig club in New Orleans called Oz, which was on Bourbon Street. So if she was performing in like 96 or 97, that was when I was graduating high school. Anyway, it's quite interesting. Oz, which is the bar that she was usually performing at in New Orleans. A lot of people have said that that particular location on Bourbon Street served as a scene in Anne Rice's son's book, A Density of Souls. Christopher Rice wrote a book. His first book that he wrote when he was trying to become an established author was called A Density of Souls, set in New Orleans, and there was a gay bar that was located on Bourbon Street called Sanctuary that got blown up by a terrorist. It was a terrorist group called the Army of God. And it just so happens that that is the general area where Oz was located at. I thought that was a little bit of interesting trivia there. April Carrion, Latina from Puerto Rico. April has a very strong accent, so we know that once she gets to the Snatch game, she's going to be voted out because she's going to choose someone that's not a Latina. She's going to choose to impersonate Oprah or someone, and she'll get voted out. Ganja Estranja is Alyssa Edwards' drag daughter, so I think she's going to go quite far. She's originally from Texas. That's how she knew Alyssa. And her strength is dance, just like her drag mother, and I think she might go quite far. She is a dark horse candidate for my top 4. But my top 3 would include Kelly Mantle, Mickey Mantle's family member. She's jack of all trades. Kelly Mantle is her boy name and her drag name. She just kept it. She does acting, comedy, impersonating, the whole 9 yards. So, out of everyone, I think Kelly might go quite far. Could be an underdog to take the whole thing. Ben de la Creme from Seattle. Jinx Monsoon's friend. Funny, says she's terminally delightful. So she's got that positive attitude that was really, really cute with Jinx. I don't know if it will be cute a second time around with another contestant, but we'll see. I'm sure she's going to have positivity tagline, just like Jinx had. You know, Jinx said it was water off a duck's back. I'm sure we're going to get some annoying phrase from Ben as well, but Ben, I think, will be in the top 2. There's no way that Ben can beat Courtney Act. Courtney Act is the winner already. I'm almost certain of it. Even if the fans have to vote, Courtney's going to win. She's probably one of the fishiest queens we have ever seen, and she's originally from Australia. Now, in my cast predictions video, I had mentioned Courtney Act, and a lot of people were telling me, oh, well, you're wrong because she's from Australia. And this is America's next drag superstar. This is not Australia's drag superstar, so therefore she's ineligible. This whole Obama birther crap, that because she was born in another country that she could not be the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. A lot of people told me I was wrong. Well, I was not wrong. She's on the show and she's going to win. Everyone needs to remember that BB was from Cameroon and she won season 1. Just because you're performing in the United States is, you know, if you're from another country, if you're on a visa, you could still win America's Next Drag Superstar. But Courtney Act, I think, is definitely the winner. She's very, very, very good. You definitely need to Google her, look her up on YouTube, look at some of her performances. She's amazing.